Right.
Monaco, May 2026. Charles Leclerc is leading his home race. Everything he's dreamed about since he was a kid. Everything Ferrari promised him when he signed that extension in January 2024. It's right there. It's the podium he needed. It's the win that would prove something. And then, on lap 65, with 12 laps remaining,
Oh, but into the wall and out of the race, Charles Leclerc!
the car snaps under braking into the portiere, the most dangerous part of the circuit. He goes into the barriers hard, the engineers are confused, the pit wall is silent for a moment, Leclerc is furious. And when he climbs out of the car, he makes it clear. This wasn't driver error, the brakes failed him, again. Here's the thing nobody's talking about. It wasn't just the brakes that failed him that afternoon. It was the trust. And that failure didn't start on lap 65 at Monaco. It started years ago, back when Leclerc first believed Ferrari could deliver a championship. Charles Leclerc has been with Ferrari since 2016. Driver Academy, then working his way up, GP3 champion, Formula 2 champion. 27 pole positions in Formula 1, 8 Grand Prix wins, but 0 championships. And it's not because he can't drive, it's because Ferrari somehow keeps finding ways to not let him win. The 2025 season was supposed to be different. The team had new cars, new regulations coming down the pipeline for 2026. But Ferrari was already struggling from the first race. The car was slow from day one, and early on, Fred Vasseur and the team made a decision. They looked at the championship fight, saw McLaren and Red Bull pulling away, and decided the year wasn't worth their full effort. By spring, before the season was even halfway done, they'd already started diverting resources away from 2025. Engineers reassigned, upgrades delayed, development focus shifted to the 2026 Challenger. Leclerc watched his entire season get deprioritized in real time, not because he wasn't fast enough, but because Ferrari had messed up the technical direction so badly that a full season of pushing wasn't going to get them to the title fight anyway. Ferrari finished 4th in the Constructors' Championship. 4th. For a team with Ferrari's resources, that's not just disappointment. That's an indictment of planning and execution at the highest levels. That's the kind of decision that breaks a relationship. It's not a single mistake, it's a message. It's Ferrari telling you that their planning, their execution, their entire technical infrastructure couldn't deliver when it mattered. And you have to live with that failure while they fix it for next year. But the brakes were the real killer. He'd been complaining about them since Canada. Locking up on corner entry, inconsistent feel in the braking zone, unpredictability that means you can't trust what the car is going to do when you're pushing hard into a corner. The kind of thing that destroys confidence because you can't push flat to the limit when you don't trust the brakes. You have to brake earlier, you have to carry less speed, you become tentative.
Were you hoping more from more this weekend?
But honestly, on my side, I kind of expected it. I haven't been at all at ease with the car. I'm really struggling with the brakes on my side of the garage for some reason, so we need to look into it, trying to find something for tomorrow. Otherwise, it's going to be a very long weekend because in the brakes, I get into the corners hoping that I don't end up going straight.
At Monaco, he mentioned it again. The team acknowledged the problem, said they'd look at it in detail back at the factory. Later, not immediately, not as an urgent priority for a driver at his home race struggling with a safety-critical issue. Ferrari's response communicated that despite 10 years with the team, his problems weren't urgent. The braking issue carried over from Canada to Monaco without resolution, without even an attempt at fixing it. And when he crashed, when he lost the car into Portier, it was because those unresolved brakes finally let go completely. The technical infrastructure that should have supported him failed. The organization that asked him to extend his contract until 2029, that asked for his loyalty and commitment, couldn't execute on basic support for its premier driver. Las Vegas was worse. Leclerc felt that Ferrari made a strategic error with the undercut. He told them on the radio that something was wrong, that they should have done something different. The team's response essentially amounted to, "We're going to make the call we think is right, and you're going to drive around it." He got undercut by multiple rivals, lost positions, lost the race. When you're the driver and you see a problem in real time and you tell your engineer and they ignore you and then the problem happens exactly as you predicted, you stop trusting that pit wall. That's not frustration anymore, that's a pattern. And then Monaco, the strategic decision before the crash. Ferrari ran a double-stack pit stop under safety car, bringing both drivers in together, prioritizing team efficiency over maximizing Leclerc's position. His deputy team principal D'Ambrosio later acknowledged that the call disadvantaged Leclerc. Disadvantaged at his home race, and they did it anyway, for the sake of team optimization. Leclerc left the pits in a worse position. His unresolved brake problem did the rest. When he crashed, when he climbed out and said, "I don't see why I should take the blame for this," he wasn't being defensive. He was pointing out the obvious.
And it's not even braking, it's leaning my foot on the brake. And the rear brakes was not working at all.
Ferrari put him in a compromised position with a faulty car, and then the car failed, and he was the one left explaining it. That's the thing about trust. It's not built on occasional good decisions. It's destroyed by patterns. One strategy call goes wrong. That's racing. One technical issue goes unresolved. That's frustrating. One communication breakdown, you can move past it. But when all three happen repeatedly, when you extend your contract believing things will improve and instead they get worse, when you spend over a decade at a team without winning a championship and watch them essentially give up on multiple seasons, when you tell your team what you need and they don't listen, when a safety-critical technical issue isn't prioritized despite complaints across multiple races, you don't trust anymore. You can't. Trust requires demonstrated competence. It requires feeling like the organization is actually behind you, that your needs matter, that when you identify a problem, it gets treated with urgency. Ferrari has failed on all counts. The 2026 regulations reset the entire grid. New power units, new aerodynamic concepts. Someone will figure out the new technical concept first. Whoever reads it right in year one tends to own the next 4, maybe 5 years. Leclerc is still quick enough to capitalize if Ferrari gets it right. He's proven that repeatedly, but he's watched this movie before. Optimistic preseason hopes, underwhelming execution, resource decisions made without his input, technical problems treated as secondary or deprioritized, strategy calls that prioritize team logistics over his race performance. If Ferrari shows any sign of repeating that pattern in 2026, if the same decision-making processes that created the 2025 disaster are still in place, if the pit wall is still making calls without listening to their driver, Leclerc's fears of a baked-in disadvantage for years to come won't just be realistic. They'll be basically guaranteed, a decade without a championship already served. A contract locked in until 2029 with no light at the end of that tunnel. And every month that ticks by without visible change from the organization becomes another reason to question whether staying was the right call. Whether it's worth it. The brakes will eventually get fixed. The strategy calls might improve. The communication might improve. But the trust that's been broken over years of consistent failure, over repeated patterns of being let down, doesn't repair that quickly. And without trust at this level, without a driver being able to believe that his team has both his back and the competence to execute, a driver and a team can't function at the level Formula One demands. That's why Leclerc refuses to trust Ferrari anymore. Not because he wants to, not because it's easy, but because they've given him no other choice.